Hello and welcome to The Point of It All. I am Jamie and he is
Trevor.
Trevor, today E3 kicked off in earnest. Xbox, Microsoft was front and center with the first presser of E3 2019. Any prevailing thoughts that you had on the Microsoft presser?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I thought parts of it kind of drug on. It was good. I was excited for some of the games. I was excited by Cyberpunk. Thought a little too much CGI in that part, but I definitely think it looks promising. Thought it was kind of cool that Keanu Reeves came out because I'm a big fan of his and John Wick in The Matrix. Blair Witch kind of caught me off guard. I like games like that. I know they didn't show much at all, but it looked exciting. So those are two games that jumped out at me. How about you?
I was a little disappointed in Psychonauts. I was expecting just a different graphical fidelity, I guess.
Yeah.
It looked just like the graphics were the same as the last version I played, and so I don't know. I'll still probably buy the game, but it is coming to Game Pass, and Game Pass was front and center.
Yeah.
At the press conference. Now that it's not only is there a price drop, there's a new bundle now, right? You can get Xbox Live and Game Pass for Xbox One and Game Pass for PC, all for $19.99. Now, does this seem more appealing to you?
A little more, but I'm not, as we talked before, a big fan of monthly subscription fees. Because I think if you're not using the service, if you really evaluate what you're spending versus buying versus subscription, you're probably spending more on subscription unless you use it a lot. So
I disagree. Here's why. Let's say the average game is $24.99 a month. That's taking the indie titles and the big marquee titles, right? Just on average, let's say $24.99 a month, right? If you play one of those games once a month, you've paid for the service because you would have otherwise bought that game anyway, right?
True.
So it's not a bad deal. And I at least play at least bare minimum that with my Game Pass, so I'm not losing any money. I mean,
there's no question Game Pass was front and center of their announcement. Every game they showed, it seemed like it was going to be part of Game Pass and, pre-order to buy or get day one through Game Pass. So that's definitely something that's front and center with them. I got a feeling a big part of their next generation is probably going to be some form of subscription service. So that's why they continue to build this. And it's kind of interesting, too. Exactly. But I think they're going to continue to make it bigger. Like, you're seeing more and more. Was it like 34 titles today?
34 titles, yeah.
Are going to be part of Game Pass. So, you think of Sony on the flip side. Sony has no EA access, no Microsoft Game Pass equivalent. It's kind of interesting. You've got Microsoft. They get criticized for lack of first-party titles, but they're also pushing the envelope a little bit different than Sony. That, competition between the two here for what they're doing may, obviously benefit consumers if you get Sony into doing something like this also. I know they kind of have something similar with PlayStation Now, but I still think that's ridiculously overpriced for what you get. But definitely Game Pass is front and center. I'm excited that, you can just get a game through there. You pay your money per month and game it gets added first party or something that's part of their studios because they're obviously acquiring a lot of studios and you get it day one through there. So
the 34 titles, don't forget the 34 titles, those were games that will be available on Game Pass on launch, right? Launch day. That is huge. And some of these games were marquee titles. These were not like all indie titles. These were some of the first party games. So they're continuing that trend. I love the service. I'm probably gonna keep it forever. I can't be getting rid of it anytime soon. It's only getting better unless you can play PC games on top of that for the same price, basically. Saving $5. Heck yeah, I'm all in on Game Pass.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's definitely one of their big things, and I like the sound of it. I still think they're lacking in first party. They really need to go at Sony and Nintendo here. I mean, Sony's just always to me been like the gold standard of first party titles. The Last of Us, Uncharted. They just have stuff that they seem to do from a first party standpoint that seems to be so much better than Microsoft. So
now you watched the entire presser, right? Microsoft.
Yes. Yeah.
I only watched the first 45 minutes of it. Did they mention anything about Nintendo today, or is that going to be held on later on this next week?
I didn't see anything with Nintendo's. I got a hunch that may be part of Nintendo's E3 part that is Tuesday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Miyamoto's going to be there, they're saying?
Well, they said a rumor that he may be at the Xbox one, but he never showed up out there that I saw.
Huh.
So, I'm sure he might be out there at obviously the Nintendo one. He's the creator of Mario, right?
Yeah. I saw a Twitter photo where it had Microsoft on one half and Nintendo on the other half, and it said "surviving together" or something.
No.
Tagline. So I don't know what that means. It sounds pretty exciting.
What I read about what may happen with Xbox Live coming to Nintendo Switch, what I've read about that and just watched on online and stuff, it seems like there might be some part of game streaming with that, because obviously I don't see people recoding all these games to work on a Nintendo Switch, so it's going to have to involve some form of streaming technology, which that already kind of has, because you can play. I think in Japan, Resident Evil 7, you've been able to play through a streaming service over there, Capcom, since its launch. So it kind of does exist all overseas already. So you've got the potential there that this Xbox Live service and Game Pass, I'm going to guess, would come to it. Maybe not every game, but you're going to see some form of game streaming to the Nintendo Switch, which I think would be kind of neat for a handheld thing. So
absolutely.
And I think also too, to combat, both of the market share that Sony has compared to Microsoft, and even if you look at the third of Nintendo Switch has sold very well, but Sony obviously is 2-for-1ing Microsoft if you go by the numbers that you keep hearing about. So you need something to really combat what Sony's doing. So the more that Nintendo and Microsoft can team up and crossplay and other stuff, I mean, Sony's the one that seems to be resistant to the crossplay, to the EA access, to the subscription service so far. So let's see what comes out. They're not even at E3 this year. They're just depending on their state of plays, like Nintendo's doing with their Nintendo Direct presentation. So, Sony's kind of just sitting quiet, letting the software talk for itself this year.
Back to the E3 games for Microsoft. Did my eyes deceive me, or were there really two Star Wars games announced for the Microsoft?
Well, you've got the one coming out by EA in the fall. That one looks pretty cool. I like it. I like seeing a lightsaber.
I'm not a Star Wars guy at all, but that looked pretty cool. That game.
I'm always a sucker. I'm not a big Star Wars fan either. I was always more Star Trek, but I'm a sucker for lightsaber battles. I love anything with a lightsaber. So when I see a lightsaber out, it kind of gets my attention. Hopefully it's not like Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 where it's loaded with microtransactions and all that, because that'll immediately turn me off. I did see also Star Wars, it was a Lego version. Looked kind of neat. And I'm not always into those Lego games. I think sometimes they're more for kids, but this one looked pretty neat.
Right.
Depending how dumbed down it is. So I was kind of excited by that. I actually was really excited for the Forza Lego add-on. I thought that looked really neat. Did you see that, or was that when you were had to log off?
Forza Lego, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's like an add-on. I believe it's going to be an add-on for Forza 4, if I'm not mistaken.
In the Lego environment?
It's going to be it's a real world, but Lego cars. It looked like. So it kind of looked really interesting to me. I liked it.
That's kind of a while ago they did the Hot Wheels add-on. So
and I've got the Hot Wheels one. Cool. I've got the snow, the Blizzard one. For Forza 2. I've got both of those. Those are two of my favorites. I don't love the regular Forza as much as those add-ons. So
I love Forza.
Yeah.
Horizon's better than Forza, but Forza, the whole family is just really well done. Yeah. Really well done.
One other game jumped out to me also that didn't say anything about release date, and that's kind of something that I'll say just to that. Everything it seemed to be talked about coming out seemed like it was about 10 months to a year away. And I know you got to build hype and the games have to get done, but I'd love to see some of these games coming out in the next 6 months. It's like, you talk about something next April. I'm like, okay, great, you showed me. But what do you have coming this summer, this fall? Like, what's the next big marquee type? Like, we knew at this point last year we had Red Dead Redemption coming in the fall. Mm-hmm. We had Spider-Man coming for PlayStation 4. We had Super Smash Brothers coming for Nintendo Switch. Like, what's the next big things coming? I know Death Stranding's coming for PS4.
Hey, man, it's only the first day of E3, brother.
I know. I just want to see some stuff. Like, what's coming next? What's the next big thing I need to get really excited for? Because also keep in mind, you're going to start releasing games a year from now. Some of these big titles like Cyberpunk and Blair Witch. Another one I was just going to talk about before I went to the rant and rave on the release dates was the Flight Simulator. Did you see that one?
Yeah,
that looked really neat. Real environments.
Yeah, bring on the flight controllers again.
Yeah, I mean that looked really, really neat. I haven't played a Flight Simulator game probably 20 years on a PC.
Well, you got the generic one for the Oculus Rift and Quest. That's pretty
I played that one. It's okay. You move
like
around.
Pilot Wings, yeah.
Yeah, this looked really neat. I was excited for that, but again, nothing on release date, nothing. So who knows when it's coming.
What about Minecraft? Minecraft Dungeons?
Yeah, it was almost like a Diablo style Minecraft.
Yeah, it looked just like Diablo. So, Diablo or I can think of them, but yeah, very, very good, very well done.
I've played Minecraft on off for the years, never enough that I knew really what I was doing. I recently just got it for a Nintendo Switch when it was on a sale, and it's interesting. You build to protect yourself, you scavenge for supplies and food, and it's decent. I think my 7-year-old understands it better than I do.
Oh yeah.
It's not a bad game, and it's build on the.
This one looks like it's more for everybody though. There's like missions and stuff that you can actually accomplish. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we'll stick with Microsoft. There's some new console buzz, right? We've got Project Scarlet, right?
Yep.
What do you think of that?
Excited for it. That's I believe what they're referring to as their next gen system.
Yep.
So, other than the specs on it, they really didn't say a ton other than what they say, holiday 2020. So it seems like it's going to be a powerful system. Other than that, they didn't say a whole lot. It seems like there's rumors also of 2 different versions of it, kind of like the Xbox One S and Xbox One X. Depending on what kind of TV you've got, you probably want to get, an S or an X, depending if you're getting, the high end or the middle. So,
right.
Seems powerful, but again, there's so little detail at this point. It's probably E3 at this time next year. You'll start to get, launch titles and availability in terms of dates, which if it's like every other console I can remember, you're probably going to see it launch in November, right before Thanksgiving, a week or 2 before it. So you still got about 18 months of time here. So
looks like they're zeroing in on load times in particular.
Yeah, the load times to cut down on that. So, I expect this system to be heavy digital. It's going to be a streaming system, a streaming service. Their Project xCloud also is going to be launching this fall. I'm sure they don't want to let Google Stadia get too far ahead of them, so they're launching that this fall. And some requirements I can put up here if you see those on screen now. You see there with the Project Scarlet here, what it's going to include in terms of power type of system, up to 120 frames a second, next gen SSD. So, it's going to be a fast hard drive. That'll definitely cut down on load times. So definitely you got some specs here on this that look pretty nice. So
pretty beefy.
Absolutely. Yeah. That along with the Project xCloud, which is more of the, streaming service. As they say, you can stream from your own console. So I have to assume that you stream into your phone or you stream into a tablet.
Yep.
You can stream on the road, which I think that if I'm reading it right, it would be different than Google Stadia. Google Stadia so far has said you can stream to a Pixel phone, but they haven't said yet to other phones.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time before they open the floodgates, though. They're probably still testing out, I'm sure. But it's going to be every device that runs Chrome's.
Yeah, eventually. Eventually, it'll be a soft launch. If you remember when Fortnite came out on Android, I believe at first it was just like the Galaxy or S10 or one of those, or the Note. And as time went here, it slowly filtered out to others. So,
right.
You'll see that happen with the Stadia service. So similar with Xbox, it's probably going to launch on, you figure something you can do with a Surface tablet. They don't have their phones anymore. I believe the Microsoft phones went away. They aren't even around anymore, are they? So what devices?
I'm sure there are still out in the wild, but
it would have to be an iOS or an Android device if you're out in the wild. So
right. Let me ask you a question about streaming service in general. Stadia's been rolled out, right? Would you pay more for the Xbox service than you would for Stadia right now with what between the 2 services?
Not necessarily, because I think the difference of those services, what I was going to say, I think Stadia is dependent probably more upon your download speed, your speed of your connection, because you're playing it from Google's data center. But if you're turning your Xbox with Project xCloud into your own Xbox server, that's going to be dependent upon your upload speed. So if you have a fast upload, you probably will get good results from it. But Google, you're dependent more upon getting it from their data center. So, I think there's a difference in those 2 services if I'm reading it correctly. More details obviously come in the next 6 months, but one's probably dependent upon your speed overall.
Well, they're different, but they're the same though. Xbox offers more functionality because your console could be a server for other devices. Google is saying, "I'm going to do all of it. I'll do all your devices for you on my server based on my backbone." So, I mean, you're getting more value, I guess, with the Microsoft version.
Well, if you think about it, and I never personally used it because at the time I didn't have a fast enough upload, and also NVIDIA kind of quit making their handheld and tablets like they did. So, if you go back to when GeForce had their game stream service first launch, which came out back, I believe it was around 2013. Over the years, they've upgraded, and it works reliable. I have an NVIDIA Shield. I have a gaming PC. And I stream inside my house, but they also came up with out-of-home streaming. And I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I never used it because I didn't have any type of NVIDIA device that I would ever take outside of my house.
Right.
But out-of-home streaming would work if you had a 5 megabit minimum upload speed. So the 5 megabit minimum in this day and age is probably getting there, but there's still some homes that probably only are working with 2 or 3, and is it consistent enough to get 5 upload consistently to play? So if your Xbox is turning into a server, it's going to need a fast, consistent upload.
Well, no doubt. And
that's where I think Google.
Isn't that the same though as streaming games through the Steam device though in your house? Same thing.
Well, but in-home streaming is going to be different because you're in-home streaming. You theoretically are going to get anywhere from probably 10 to 20 megabytes a second. So in-home streaming will always work more effectively because you're not going outside of your house. So
and we haven't really heard a lot about that with Microsoft Server though. We don't know if it's going to be geared towards outside of your house. Mm-hmm. It might say optimized for the same Wi-Fi network, and that way they'll cover themselves based on, what I mean? They'll be
because the way they worded it, you can stream anywhere. So I'm taking that I'm sure they want to put it on your phone. I mean, Google, the way they have said it, they haven't said it's restricted to your in-house. So, I'd have to think Microsoft doesn't want to be tied to saying, "Oh, it'll be in-house." They'll right away get banged over the head on, well, Google can do this. So I'm excited by all streaming services. Like I said before, I think it's going to be the future and the norm probably in the next, 5 to 10 years. But, definitely you got to keep working out the kinks, and everybody's broadband speed needs to continue to improve.
What did you think of the game Bleeding Edge when you saw the footage?
Looked okay. I mean, it didn't jump out to me as something I would probably, run out and buy, but it looked okay.
Right. I don't know. Not my kind of game, I guess, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like I said, for me, the top 3 that jumped out to me were Cyberpunk, the Blair Witch, and the Flight Simulator. Those were the 3 that kind of jumped out to me. And the Flight Simulator is not really a game I usually would ever play.
Right.
Blair Witch, I like games like that. I like Resident Evil. I like Outlast. Games that are, more Silent Hill type. I like stuff like that to play. You're in the dark. The Friday the 13th that came out, about a year and a half, 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
I had that game forever and loved playing it. I think it presented a really great horror type element where you're getting chased around by Jason Voorhees. So I like games like that where you've got that thrilling element with it. And so, those 3 games were thinking. Like I said, Keanu Reeves still with Cyberpunk. He's in there. So the whole John Wick theme, maybe. I like that. So it looks exciting with those.
That's probably my favorite of the presser was the what was it called? The John Wick game?
Not Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. That's what I'm waiting for. That looked pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Any disappointments that you saw in the E3? Anything that's like, it sucks?
Yeah, I mean, some of the games they had, I just looked at them and off the top of my head, they announced so many games I can't remember all of them. But some of the games with some of the smaller studios, I like some of the stuff from some of the smaller studios, but some of their games, they're more independent. Just seemed like I was like, okay. And maybe when they come out, you'll get a game like Limbo or Inside or something. You're like, oh, this is really phenomenal from a smaller studio. I just right now some of those games are so hard to tell because it's like, okay, this doesn't look like it just hooks me. And the same with Limbo. If I'd have seen Limbo before I played it, I would have been like, yeah, whatever. But now once I played it, I love it. It's like it's a $10 game and it's phenomenal. So same with Inside. Yeah. So
pretty sweet. Yeah. Along the same lines as Limbo was what was the game with the 4 kids and going through the caves? I can't think of the name. It was a really good Steam game though. I actually
Oxenfree.
Oxenfree, yeah. If you haven't played Oxenfree, guys, do yourself a favor and check it out.
Yeah, I get that on the Steam sale. I even bought it on my Nintendo Switch when it was on sale.
Absolutely.
I'm yet to play it a lot, but I did hear it was really good.
It's one of the best Steam games, the best narrative-driven games out there, easily by far. So check it out.
Yeah. Is it better than Broforce?
Different, totally different games. It's not even, I guess from a fun factor, Broforce is, I guess, more action, but the story in that game is really phenomenal. Just really, really well done. The voice acting, just top tier. Really, really, really
yeah.
Oxenfree, that's it. Short, fun. So, do you have any E3 wrap-ups here for the presser for Microsoft? Anything you want
to? Not really. It looks like for the next year, we're going to be expecting new software. You're going to be expecting here in the fall the streaming service to come right around the time Google does theirs. It looks like they're going to try to jump on Google by about a month because they said October. Google said November, so they're going to try to get ahead of them by about a month. And again, I think all that's good. You're going to have those two push each other. You've got NVIDIA with their GeForce service. You've got PlayStation with their PlayStation Now service. All four of those, the more they keep pushing each other, and the more it'll benefit the consumer. So,
right.
Other than that, the other games, like I say, I didn't catch any of those games that I saw were coming this year. Maybe I missed the dates on some of them though. But Blair Witch, I didn't really see a date. Cyberpunk was next year at this time, maybe April 2020. Nothing on Flight Simulator. So the ones I was excited for, really not a lot in terms of dates. That's kind of, I guess, the biggest bummer. But I'm excited for what's coming. I think Microsoft seems to be just like Sony. They're in kind of a weird position that you're not going to see a giant flagship at this point. I think you're going to see some of that stuff start getting reserved for the launch of the next gen stuff.
Yeah.
Like the next big Halo game, the next big, I know there's an Avengers game, which you haven't heard a whole lot coming out yet about, but, you think that's going to be coming. I think that said it was being made by Squaresoft. So you're going to see that coming. You have to wonder, some of the stuff coming, is it going to be for the next gen system?
Right.
So,
yeah. I'm excited for a collaboration between Nintendo and Microsoft. Looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
That should be huge. I'm a fan of both consoles and both companies, so hopefully we're talking about something huge and not just going to trade a few games back and forth.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that wraps up Microsoft's E3 presser for us, at least. What's on the slate for tomorrow? We know what's coming tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I think, is just individual studios. And tomorrow, you should also, since the week is beginning, start to see stuff from the floor of the convention. So hopefully you'll get stuff. I know At Games is going to be a potential competitor, Arcade 1-Up. They have an arcade system they're potentially releasing that's getting some positive buzz, actually, compared to some of the other stuff they've done. You'll probably have some stuff from some of the third-party, software developers, maybe something like the Avengers game I mentioned. Some of that you'll see Nintendo stuff Tuesday, so you probably won't see a ton from them until then. Arcade 1-Up, I know, has mentioned other console systems are going to be the arcades coming out. They're going to maybe potentially have some other announcements there. Other obviously manufacturers, the N64 clone console that we talked about the other day, a little bit in detail. You'll probably have that announced. I think they mentioned they'll have details on the showroom floor. So should have some stuff coming up that's announced, maybe something that we just don't even know about yet, so.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll probably meet again tomorrow night, Trevor. You thinking?
Absolutely. And also, too, let me say this. I just kind of thought, as we haven't said this before, hit the subscribe button if you like our videos, and hit the notification button to have it come up on your timeline when you see our videos come up then.
Great. Awesome. Hey, it's good talking to you again, man.
Take care.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.